for the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the sky. I am opening, for the beauty. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
And so we open. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton. We are a loving, healing, and inclusive community which teaches and practices the principles of the science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. We've been that for a very long time, and today, in continuation of that, we have Reverend Karen Kushner as our speaker. I know that wasn't what was listed on our webpage, but we love surprises. And today we've got surprises. So, welcome. Next week, we have our Burning Bowl ceremony, with which our practitioner Jeff Starbuck will be leading. And that's really wonderful. Coming up on December 31st, the World Healing Meditation. We didn't do it last year, but it is something that we do as a tradition and is actually done around the world at the same time. That is noon, what used to be called Greenwich Mean Time. I don't know what they're calling it now. So it's 7 a.m. here in Eastern Time. Everybody around the world does it at the same moment. It will be online. We will put the link for that on our Facebook page and on our web page. It starts at 6:40 a.m. We open the room, and we'll be there at 7 o'clock sharp. We start this World Healing Meditation, which was written by John Randolph Price. And I don't know how many years it's been.
86.
Sorry?
Since 86.
Since 86. And it's an absolutely wonderful meditation. And here's a spiritual practice that you can do, which I have done. Is I've memorized the whole thing. And I do it as part of my daily practice. It is a wonderful, grounding meditation on world peace and on personal peace. Wonderful practice. So we've got that coming up. Anything else that anybody else thinks we should mention? The giving tree, which was supposed to be last week, but the beautiful snow decided that it had precedence. So we had to cancel. It will be coming up in January, and we welcome you to be part of that. I think it's the second Sunday in January is what Susan told me. And it's a time when you can come here. We give food to the local food pantry, so you can bring donations. And we also share some food here together also. So we welcome you to come as the new year comes. This is a very good time to look at what has been your focus for the year. What do you want your focus to be for the coming year? The Burning Bowl ceremony, which most of you have experienced, but not all of you, is a wonderful ceremony where we let go of the things we've been carrying that we don't want to carry forward into the new year. And we do this by writing it down and burning it. We have a particular ritual that we do. And so we welcome you to come down to the Masonic Temple in Princeton. Join us next week for the Burning Bowl ceremony and the things that are coming up, the World Healing Meditation online. In February, Reverend Christina Tillotson will be teaching a class for us. There is a brand new class that CSL has put out based on the book called This Thing Called You, which many of us know, and she'll be teaching that class. It's 6 weeks, it's online, we will list it. And Reverend Karen, who is speaking today, is starting a class. When does it start?
First Sunday of January.
First Sunday of January. Sunday evening, 7 to 9?
Yes.
7 to 9 in the evening. The 10 Commandments of Prosperity by Stuart Grayson, who was Reverend Karen's teacher. The book is no longer being published, but his writings really are quite wonderful. And so Reverend Karen's going to teach a 10-week class on that. And we will, put it on our website so that everybody can get all the details. I guess probably on the Facebook page is the best place to put it. So that you can, so there's all of these things, and for all of us, we are what's called a teaching chapter. And that is, we're all in the process of learning and growing. One of the things I've learned from this teaching is, as much as we may think we know, there's always more. Seriously. There's always a deeper place and a deeper truth, and there's always more love and more abundance. And so we are getting back into the swing of having classes and workshops, and I really invite all of you to get involved. It's, my experience is it's the way of keeping my heart and mind engaged in doing the practice. So thank you very much and welcome.
While I give to you and you give to me true love, so on and on it will always be. True love, for you and I have a guardian angel on high with nothing to do but to give to you and to give to me love forever true. For you and I have a guardian angel on high with nothing to do but to give to you and to give to me true love, true love.
Good morning. My name is Gary Torres. I'm one of the licensed practitioners here. We have quite a few. What I wanted to talk about today, a little bit of scripture, a little bit of history, talking about Christmas, talking about how it is that we celebrate when we do. First of all, there are a lot of people who will say, they look at what's in the New Testament and they'll say, this doesn't quite agree with our tradition. You're absolutely right that certain of the traditions at this time of year are not biblically based. People who take the Bible with a grain of salt, take other scriptures with a grain of salt, will say, oh, there's something wrong with the scripture. There's nothing wrong with our practice. So what I wanted to start with, I really wanted to talk about light, and this is what this season is about. It's about light, about the return of light, about light coming into the world. And we know that light is one of the attributes of God. Now, how we got here is that years ago there was a Roman holiday that took place basically shortly after the after the winter solstice, because the winter solstice is the shortest day of the year. a couple of days after that, the sun would noticeably be rising earlier, would stay in the sky a little bit longer. And the people at that time decided that this was a reason to celebrate. The sun was coming back. Maybe it was going to be devoured by a dragon or whatever the mythology of the time was, but it was coming back. So they were celebrating the return of light. The Romans, being control freaks, said, these Christians and Jews are celebrating things at different times, and we don't want people celebrating things at different times. We want everybody to be a nice, peaceful Roman citizen and behave like everybody else. So they moved the holiday to conveniently coincide with the earlier holidays. That's why we are celebrating now. We would call it the birth of Christ, but it's actually, if you will, the beginning of a new season of light. And we know the Bible many times refers to light. It refers to the people who have lived in darkness have seen a great light. It says, there's a lovely thing in the Course in Miracles that says, you need light to see a miracle. A miracle is always there, but you become unaware of it if you're in darkness. So to wake up and say, yes, there is light, there is a miracle. The miracle is all the time, is what they're encouraging. And we also have, of course, the Festival of Lights going on right now. And the traditional Christmas celebration. And I think that's enough on the subject at the moment. Okay, so I wanted to do a spiritual mind treatment. And one of the things that we talk about here is that there is only one, and this means that you may have different interpretations, different words, different symbols for particular things. But when you come right down to it, there is, as far as we know, one universe, one power, one presence that rules that universe. So, there is only one. It is love, it is light, it is power, it is with everyone all the time. We have to be awake, we have to be living in light to see it. It is always there, always present, and it is a part of our lives and a part of our practice. Because this is true, this spirit, which lives everywhere, including in each and every living thing, is capable of creating for us our own individual worlds, as has created the universe that we live in. Because we know this, we know that anything that we truly desire to do that is consistent with the teaching of the guidance of Spirit is going to come to pass, is already come to pass. Therefore, we know that we don't have to worry about what happens from day to day, what we happen to be seeing, because we may not be seeing in completely bright light. When we really see light and we really see what is going on, we will know that what we truly prayed for has always been in existence. I direct this word into the law in which it is already and always done, and so it is.
So it is.
So it is. Thank you, Gary.
Many of you know the song, and it's usually done with drums and such, but we'll use our hands. It's a Karen Drucker song. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day.
It's wonderful, it's wonderful, this wonderful day. This wonderful, this wonderful, this wonderful day. Thank
you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for this light, Spirit. Thank you for this light. Thank you for this light, Spirit. Thank you for this light. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful light. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful light.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
thank you.
And so, okay, I will. Reverend Karen Kushner.
Okay. Hello.
I came here for you, Karen.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, so happy Hanukkah, right? It's like day six today, and Merry Christmas. That's coming up in a couple of days, but today is also Happy Solstice Day, and it's the shortest day of the year. And Facebook told me this morning that at 10:03 a.m. at 10:03 and 10:03.27, the Earth stopped for a nanosecond and shifted from leaning one way on its axis to leaning the other. And it said that you wouldn't be able to feel it or sense it or something, but I set my timer, and I was just pulling into the parking lot when it went off, and I was counting 1,000, 2, 1,000, till 27, and I shut off my car, and at that moment my car stopped, but it didn't. It went boop, 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 boop. So I felt it. Okay, in my little world, we know that. 10:03:27. Here's the thing about anything. It has no meaning of its own. Everything has the meaning that we put on it. So, for me, 10:03:27, I gave it the meaning at that moment, everything changed. The whole world changed, and everything changed. So on my way here, I passed some police activity out on 206, and then I passed more police activity coming in, and because of 10:03:27, everything changed, and I knew all that changed. And in which direction did it change? Toward the light. More light, more God, more good. Everything changed. So whatever you may have experienced in my mind, okay, in my world, and in my life too, whatever I experienced up to 10:03:27 is changed. So if there was a condition or a diagnosis or the way that you were, anything that was less light, less God, less good, it's all now shifted in our favor, in the favor of good for each one of us. I declare it for me, I declare it for you. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Now you can have your own stories and do what you want with it, but I'm claiming this because our teaching, the spiritual practice that we have here, is absolutely following the teachings of Jesus. And he said, there's a chapter in our textbook called Finding the Christ. And in it, Ernest Holmes said that he never thought of himself as different from others. His whole teaching was that what he did, others could do. And he said that, that which I've done, you will do these things and more, and more. And I still think of him in his omnipresenceness, looking at us going, I gave you everything and more and more. What I did, raising the dead, walking on water, blah, 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 all that stuff, that's just the beginning. And our teaching does declare that. We use the works of Sir Thomas Troward, who gave us a theory of spiritual truth that our normal standard of personality as we are created is perfect, whole, and complete. And from there, we are supposed to be living our lives. So for those of us who have, up until 10:03:27, lived a life of struggle, of problems, and believing I have to learn from my problems. I have to learn, I'm being taught a lesson I need to learn. That was pre the realization of the Christ. And after that is the consciousness and the experience of love, fully embodied, where we no longer are limited or hindered or distracted by our troubles, but we are totally free and totally fully equipped to now create wonderful things for ourselves and for each other. That is the promise. Meister Eckhart said that, let me get this, of course it's quoted by Ernest Holmes, who misquoted everything, but that's okay. He said that God never begot but one son, but the eternal is forever begetting the only begotten. Well, you could spend the rest of your life contemplating that. But basically, our teaching teaches us this. The Trinity, the Father of the Trinity is cause, the Creator. And He creates, through the creative process, the law, or the Holy Spirit, it creates the Son, the creation, its creation. And so recognizing that divine presence created us. We're the creation. That's the Son. And Ernest Holmes points out in this chapter that to the extent that we realize our divine sonship present within us, that's the extent that we experience all of the good that was intended for us to experience. And Jesus was the one who was attributed with discovering this Christ nature within himself. And he realized it to such an extent that we name him the Christ. Another word or use of the word Christ is the law, the Christ principle within us. It is the practice of recognizing the divinity within us. So whatever you're celebrating for your holiday and whatever your religious beliefs are, those are all right. This does not erase any of that. Your relationship with Jesus, the Hanukkah promise, all of that is still present. It is still active in you. But what we're talking about here is a metaphysical understanding of what lies above all that. And to recognize that in me is this divine creation that I have not yet recognized. I am now recognizing. So after 10:03:27, I am that I am. And Jesus so embodied this. That word embodiment is such a great word. Let's think about it. We think with our minds, and maybe some of us right now, me included, right, intellectually trying to understand, oh yeah, the divinity within. And then maybe we have a greater belief in it. And so we call upon the divinity within. I always call upon that loving presence within me to speak through me, because Karen is blah, 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 all over the place. So we practice it at a deeper level. But embodiment means there's nothing else in us. To the contrary. So much so that even my flesh embodies this teaching. And so with this spiritual mentor, this role model of Jesus, as well as others who are lesser known, but they definitely succeeded in this, that embodiment was so believed in by that awareness self, that there was no longer a human personality, and the cells were transformed. So we have Jesus who is resurrected. We have, is it Yogananda whose body did not decay?
Yes.
You know, they're like, whoa, you know, I mean, was he even dead? You know, I mean, so transformed. And so in this teaching, what we do as practitioners, right, is, right, we love to do spiritual mind treatment. We love to do affirmative prayer because it's our highest experience of knowing the divinity within us. I'm the most blessed when I'm doing a spiritual mind treatment, you know, and then I'm all done and I'm like, yes, yes, forever, forever. And then I, you know, get into my car and whoops, off I go. That's okay. But that highest moment of knowing the truth, what we're doing is recognizing that highest truth that I'm connecting with right now is present in this person, in my client, in their body, in that spot. In that spot is the light, is the presence, is the Christ, right there. And as who said the Course in Miracles thing? Thank you, Gary. Yes. The light shows us that the miracle is always happening. Or the way I would interpret it right now, because I want to, is that the Christ, I am the divine. And it's not ego when you say that, because it's the opposite of ego. The ego is saying, I am so great, as opposed to everything else. The ego believes in a mixture of evil in our good. Our human personality here is beset, speaking ancient language now, beset with the negative suggestions of the human race, as well as the experience of people that we love and that we've seen, and with ourselves. So we're all mixed up, right? Have you ever been confused?
Never.
Right? Never, right? So that confusion is good because it tells us, you know, we're not clear. We're not clear in who I am, who we are. We're just not clear. We're human, or we like to say, I'm the divine being human, but just having the need to say those words shows us we're not clear. We're not embodying. I am that I am. We aspire to it. I mean, I can say it right now. I am that I am. And I am that I am that I am. And then I'll look at the time. Ooh, kind of good. And I'm no longer I am that I am. In awareness, I've become Karen, human personality. I can only talk so much and I talk too much. That is the evil, is the mixture of confusion that enters in. But we can keep aspiring. And so the wonderful thing about this particular season is it's always darkest before the dawn. Well, we already had our darkest. We don't have to do it anymore. No matter what your darkness was in your life, 10:03:27 happened. And we can claim something new. And so we can, and I intend to, and we will, if you want, claim, behold, I am that I am. Behold, I am that I am, makes all things new. Spiritual realization at whatever level that, whatever little nano bit more that we increase, always brings tremendous good into our lives. right? Just that little moment of clarity, everything changes. And so declaring that change is present for us directs the law, the creative law, to bring to us a greater experience of that. And we're all pretty much in the same level of consciousness right now. And all of our conditions are whatever they are. But because we are here now, because of who we are here now, with this august body of souls, right? Because we are here right now, everything changes. I like coming to a community of spiritual beings because I'm lifted up by the lifted up thoughts of everyone around me. So, and our intention here is so pure, right? We didn't come here to see our friends. That's such, I mean, if that is why you're here, okay, that's how you're being called. But there's so much available here. When I was doing a spiritual mind treatment for us before the service, I thought, this is a moment of possibility, of tremendous power. And each one of us is going to receive as much as we expect or demand of it. When I used to see my teacher on Sundays, the Dr. Stuart Grayson, who spoke at Alice Tilly Hall at Lincoln Center, who's very proud of that, I would walk in expecting a miracle every single Sunday. I'd have my life, the whole week of what I had been living, and I would bring it all in there, and I would expect a 10:03:27 moment to happen and to be forever changed. And every time I did receive good, and sometimes it was miraculous. Again, we have choice. And so each one of us can choose right now how much benefit and what kind of benefit are you expecting to receive now, right now? How much? Maybe you're having a good time. Maybe you want to feel a little better. Maybe you want to be inspired or motivated to finish the decorating of the house or or take out the garbage. I don't know where you're at, but that's where I'm at. And that's okay. But if you've got anything that you consider to be serious or chronic or a problem that is just taking your energy and distracting you, why not expect that to be healed? Why not? I'm not doing it. The Christ within. I have come that ye shall have life and have it more abundantly. There is no divine reason for any of us to be limited, restricted, suffering, troubled, problems in any way. No divine reason, no God-given reason. We do have human beings who try to come up with God-given reasons to explain things. Right? Well, it's because you're a sinner and there is no heaven, there is no hell. All we have is now. And now ye are the sons and daughters of God. Now, claim it. Claim your inheritance. Claim your good. Can you do that? Years ago, I went to my first retreat with our organization at the time. It was down in Florida somewhere on this beautiful peninsula somewhere. And at that time, I really wanted to meet the perfect mate and get married and have a baby. That was my plan. And I was in my hotel room and I did this magnificent treatment. Now I am with my perfect mate. I was really focusing on now. And I let the treatment go and someone knocked at the door. And I opened the door and it was a man. And I was like, God delivers! And wrong room. But there he was. I wasn't as tight, but that's okay. The fastest possible got delivered. So, but in claiming now, what I noticed for myself, and maybe you've experienced yourself, if you think, okay, I'm going to claim this right now, like there's a little part of us that might feel fear. Do you notice that in you? Have you been aware of that? You're like, if right now the phone rang and it was what I had been treating for, or right now I was totally healed. Like maybe I couldn't walk, and maybe right now suddenly I could stand up and walk. And what do I do with my, supportive devices and stuff like that? We've got some here in the room, okay? If that happened right now, we think, right? Oh, that would be wonderful. But if you really consider it, I think you'll find there's an element of, well, what does that mean? If that happened right now, what does that mean? It means I've been wrong. What do I do with that? And if that happens, then what about everything else? Oh, I could feel the fear in me. Because we're very used to living our lives the way we've been living it. And on some level, we're comfortable with that. And to change, well, you mean I don't have to feel old, and I don't have to have physical problems, and I don't have to have messy relationships, and I have more than enough money and more than enough energy, but what'll I do with my binge watching habit? Now, I don't need it anymore. Well, what'll I do with it? I like that stuff. Do you like that stuff? Well, I thought I liked that stuff. It's like I worked with a gentleman once who wanted me to treat for him. I refused. He wanted me to treat that he could have his cake and eat it too. And I said, no, it doesn't work like that. When you are healed, you don't want the cake. Because the cake was a substitute for your good. What you want is to have your good and to fully enjoy it. I can treat for that, but you're going to have to change. Because that I want to have my cake and eat it too is based upon that human personality, that my good is mixed with evil, and so I need this cake. Why do I need the cake? For me, it's cookies, because I don't care about cake. Cookies. Homemade cookies. They're calling to me. Why? The earthly body has no natural need for the cookie as fuel. It's a weak fuel element, not very helpful. If I'm starving, it'll keep me alive. It'll get converted properly, but it's a lot of work for the body to absorb and to take in. I mean, it'll do the job, but it's a lot of work. Why, human being, do we make things so difficult for ourselves when we recognize that we are divine beings? We're clear, and we don't need the substitutes anymore to make us feel better. Why do I want the cake? Because I don't believe I can have my good. And so let me have a little bit of good right now. We're all going to run off and have cake after this, I know that. So that's okay. Bless yourself, forgive yourself, enjoy the cake. That's okay. But at the deeper level, what we really want when we're eating the cookies, the cake, let's think about it. What you want is, I want my good. I want my good. And not just some good or a little good. I want the all good. I was working with someone and we were trying to come up with the word to describe what this is. We want the ultimate of good. we go this way. And what is that? I want to know I am the chosen one, the blessed one, God's loved one. I want to know this. I want to receive this gift, and with the light of understanding, with the light of seeing the potential within us, we have a glimmer of the truth of who we are. And so we work with this information, right? Because right now it's probably on the knowledge level, or probably right now for most of us we're like, what the hell is she saying? I don't know. She's got to stop reading that chapter, because this chapter is kind of woo out there. But we aspire to be like Jesus. If he could do it, and if he said we can do it, then why don't I really follow him? The way my religion says, right? Follow Jesus. Follow the Christ. They don't know what they're saying when they're saying that. They're saying follow him. And so we totally 100% agree. We follow him. And what does he say? These things that I do, you also shall do, and do even more. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? My personal intention for doing anything, because most of the time Karen is shy. You know, I went to a party last night and I had to treat up the kazoo. I belong. Well, I knew when I go to these parties, no one recognizes me. It's the rowing club. They don't recognize me. We don't recognize anybody because, 5:30 in the morning, we all look like completely different than we look at 5:30 at night. But so I was like, but I want to dress up and I want to go to a holiday party and I want to have a wonderful time and I want to feel like I belong. And so I had to treat that I belong. But I also was guided, you know what? You're a really good volunteer. Sign up to be the greeter. So I did. I signed up to be the greeter. There were supposed to be 3 of us. And it turns out I'm the only one who signed up. So I was the greeter. I stood there. I had a purpose. And so as each one came in, I'm like, welcome! You can put your coats over here. The bathrooms are there and the bar's over there. I'm Karen. Who are you? Because I don't know anybody either, right? And so I had a purpose. But before that, my purpose in going out in the world, the spiritual intention I have set for myself, which you can accept and alter for your own self depending upon what you like. But my intention is I am going forth as the loving presence at the invitation of Christ within. When I first heard it, it was with another group, and we had set the intention, I am going forth as the healing presence at the invitation of Christ within. But then as I personalized it, I'm like, loving presence. And when I say that to myself, I'm able to go forth at the invitation of Christ within, which was, it said, go to the party. All right, so I went to the party. But who am I? I am the loving presence. And I'm greeting everyone. Welcome. It's something I could do. And then I was able to enjoy myself and have a good time and stop worrying about, Karen, what do they think of you? And this dress doesn't look right, whatever. All that sort of stuff. Let's end with this. I am, that Christ presence within me, blah, 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 all that stuff, whatever's jumbling around in your mind right now. Let's set an intention for ourselves, a high intention, which will support us as we're going forth in our human personalities. A high intention. And you can say, I am going forth. But as a presence, invited by the Christ within, the divinity within, who made me, right? So how do you want to go forth? Not as a human. I want to be fabulous and successful and, that's okay. But let's get a higher one. And so we have Gary here who supported us in this. I'm going forth as the light at the invitation of Christ within, as the love, as the beauty. We've got all this love coming from Scott. I mean, as the love. And realize that your intention, when you claim it for yourself, can anchor you so that it calms your human personality of its fears, of its worries, of its concerns. You've got a place, a divine place. You belong, even if no one knows you. I was sitting at the table with a group of new rowers, and I chimed in with something, and the other rower looked at me like, "What the hell?" And I thought, I mean, she just didn't know what to say. She just looked at me like, "What was that?" And, then continued on with the conversation. No response to what I had chimed in with. And I had to do some thinking about that last night, because have I gotten that weird? Maybe, but it doesn't matter. I am going forth as the loving presence at the invitation of Christ within. It's the season heightened to remember this. So let's do some thinking about that. We're going to do the offering, and then I'll come back and do a spiritual mind treatment that will anchor our intentions in our consciousnesses, in our acceptances, so that we can more fully be aware of that inner journey that each one of us is on. Okay? All right, so let's do that now.
Thank you, Reverend Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Karen, and thank you, Scott, for the wonderful music. So while we're passing the basket, the old-fashioned passing the basket here, for those of you at home, this is, we consider this a thing of consciousness, not a physical thing of passing the basket, right? So while this is going on here, I'm going to read a meditation. And I suggest that you quietly take in all that Reverend Karen spoke about, and take in this truth. I am the living expression of divine love. Love flows through me, around me, and as me. Wherever I walk, love walks. Whatever I touch, love blesses. Whoever I see through the eyes of love. Love absolutely is the truth of my being. And so repeat after me. I am the living expression of divine love.
I am the living expression of divine love.
Love flows through me, around me, and as me.
Love flows through me, around me, and as me.
Love absolutely is the truth of my being.
Love absolutely is the truth of my being.
And so, Reverend Karen, would you come up and
We'll do a closing treatment here, right? Okay, so I'm going to do a spiritual mind treatment that is infinite in what is possible, and each one of us is going to set the limit of how much good you're going to receive as a result of it. Okay? So this word is being spoken for each one. There is only one life, and I recognize the infinite loving presence, God, Almighty, the cause, the creator of all things. It is this God that is creating its sons and daughters here now. it is creating each one out of its own substance, which is love, the all good, infinitely intelligence. The substance can take any form, and it is now taking the form of each one in holy manifestation. And each one is accepting this gift of having been created and is now accepting more of what is possible, more of what is present in this present. More life, more love, more light, more power, more peace, more beauty, more harmony, more joy, more good than ever before. And with this good, each one is crystal clear about the divine intention in creating them, to be going forth here in this relative world as the representative of that which is divine, that Christ within. Each one is recognizing and claiming it as being present, as being an identity of oneself. And with this unification with this loving presence, each one is enjoying this gift of life more fully than ever before, more abundantly than ever before. I am grateful that this is the truth, and I release this word to God's all-knowing, all-powerful law. It knows how to take care of it and do it. To it, all things are possible. And so the fulfillment is definitely already done. We agree and accept by saying, and so it is. That's the way it is.
That's the way it is. Send it forward first.
And Scott will close with our final song.
He's
Okay.
been transported.
Sorry, I left the planet. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Yes, we do.